Warning, 1 minute warning before we start off with some videos to start us with our evening here at Texteractive. So you can participate from the back. Obviously, if you've got your smartphone, you can enjoy the game show from anywhere, actually anywhere. I think we have some guests that are joining us from IU Bloomington tonight. And so we're streaming tonight's event, so welcome all of you that are online. But you can enjoy, of course, anywhere you're at with your phone, but we are going to start the program here in about 30 seconds. And we're looking forward to a great night. Thanks so much for being here. Again, my name's Clinton Foppel. I hope you've opted in to our game show survey software so that you can be enjoying some gift cards throughout the evening. And again, we're going to get started shortly.
In a world full of noise, what makes a conversation truly meaningful? It's more than just exchanging words. It's about curiosity, connection, understanding, and empathy. Meaningful conversations dive deeper. They build trust, foster relationships, and bridge gaps. When we take the time to listen and share authentically, we enrich our lives and those around us. So, let's make every conversation count. Connect. Listen. Understand. Welcome to Texteractive.
All right. We are excited that you have joined us. By way of hands, unofficially, how many of you have been to a Texteractive before? Wow, fantastic. We're so glad that you're back here at the Clyde Theater. We're going to have a wonderful evening. I do have some instructions, and they are lengthy, so I hope that I can get through all of them to be able to help us understand how tonight's software is going to work. First of all, I've said this a few times, but you do need to scan the QR code if indeed you want to be participating in tonight's game show. And so scan that. It's either on your postcard or the centerpiece on your table. You can join that way as well. Now, you'll notice as well that when you do that, when we are going to be pushing questions to you, you don't have to do much in regards to receiving them. We're just going to keep pushing those to you. There are going to be some survey-related questions where you'll click the continue button, but that'll be a little bit later in the evening. Before I go too much further into the game show portion, though, you'll notice you've already won. Because on your table, you have a lot of takeaways to take home with you. First of all, you've got a one-of-a-kind bag that will remind everybody around you that they're special and you can love your neighbor as yourself. You'll notice a coffee mug so that when you're having your morning Java, you can remember us and support us in prayer as we go about our day serving people around the nation. There's a magnet, for those of you that love that magnet, on the fridge, first of all, to remind you about the 494949 24-hour chat center, but also there's a special emphasis for us at remedylive this next year for parents and grandparents. And so you'll hear about that a little bit later, but that magnet will point you in that right direction. And then finally, you'll notice that we've given you a battery for your smartphone. Now, I can't promise there's a lot of juice in it tonight if you didn't come with a charged phone, but hopefully you can go home later on tonight, plug it in, and that's going to help you to stay charged in the days and weeks, months to come. Now, again, our access code tonight is keyword play. And when you opted in, you'll notice that we've asked a few questions. And the first couple questions are pretty easy. Hopefully you know your name and your last name, your email address. But you do have to choose the table that you're representing tonight because we do want you to be competing. There's about 46 teams tonight against each other in the competitive rounds to be able to make sure that you and your tables can compete against others throughout the evening. You'll also notice this year some changes to our software. There are banners along the bottom of your smartphone, and those banners are promoting and celebrating all of the incredible sponsors that we have tonight. But if you click those banners, they actually open in a new tab on your smartphone, taking you to those organization websites, but also other things that we're pushing your way. So if you do that and you end up in another tab, just jump back into the Texteractive tab so you can participate with the rest of the polling that we have tonight. Now, I also want to make sure that you know that we are going to really require you to be diligent about pushing that submit button. Every year it seems that someone comes up to me and says, I just don't know why I'm not winning. And I say, well, have you pushed the submit button? And they haven't. So make sure you take that finger of yours and click that submit button and make sure that it actually advances your question or so your answer so that you can win as much as possible. The correct answer will pop up as well on your screen so you can see that you've indeed answered it correctly. Now, again, I mentioned this earlier, but you may get a survey block from time to time, and these are just a list of questions, much like a Survey Monkey, where you can answer at your own pace. So look for that and click the continue button when you see that at the bottom of your screen. And then this is the big deal. If you receive a reward alert, it's going to pop up on your smartphone. Now, our tendency is to X out of pop-ups, right? We just don't like those pop-ups. But if you get a reward pop-up, that means you've won, and you have to submit your email address if you want to claim your $10 Amazon gift card. If you X out of it, you don't get the gift card. So make sure when those pop-ups happen, you type in your email if indeed you want to win so that we can send you that gift card tomorrow when we're back in the office. You'll also notice some other buttons that we've got on your screen. In the top left, you'll notice the chat button. We have a SoulMedic team right now available as we do every day, every hour, every week. And they're available tonight if you want to chat with them. And maybe you've got some questions about remedylive. Our team of SoulMedics are pretty amazing. On the other corner, you'll notice there's a little speech bubble. And that's so that you, in our one-of-a-kind event, Texteractive, can be asking the stage questions. If you have questions about things you're hearing and you want to ask those questions discreetly and anonymously, you can by clicking that speech bubble up at the top right corner. And so make sure that you do that. You'll also notice we've given you an anonymous nickname, and we, of course, give you your table number and the rank of where you're at in the leaderboard. And speaking of leaderboard, you'll notice that it ranks the top 5 teams. When we show that leaderboard, it also will show the top 3 players individually. Now, a difference from past years is we're giving not just one gift card away every question, but we're giving the top 3. So you might not be the smartest, but you might be the second or the third smartest and the fastest, of course. So you'll also win a gift card this year, and so we're really excited to be able to do that. And then lastly, after each individual reward or each question, we will zero out the leaderboard so that tonight lots of you can win and we can have a lot of fun. And so you'll notice the leaderboard go down to 0 once in a while, and that just means we're starting over so that more and more people can win throughout the evening. All right, and then lastly, we want to make sure that we've got this clear. We're going to have 3 game show sections tonight. 3. That means for a certain period of time, we're going to play, and then we're going to go back into our program. Then at the end of the night, the top 3 tables, because our software is keeping score, the top 3 tables are going to be up on the stage for the podium round. Now, the good news about the podium round is even you that didn't make it to the podium are still going to have a chance to win individual gift cards. But be watching throughout the night, because if your team is in the top 3 at the end of the evening, you have a chance to send somebody up here to the stage to represent your entire table. All right? Well, again, I am so grateful that we can do this event year after year, but it's not possible without incredible sponsors. And so this year we've got 4 incredible platinum sponsors that have made this possible. First of all, I want to make sure that we give a grand welcome to the Shirk Family Foundation for helping us be here tonight at the Clyde Theater. Will you join me in thanking them? Yes, every year, so blessed to be here. And then, of course, Parish Leasing, Summit Financial Group, they're up in the balcony up here, Allendale Treatment, and our friends at Neodia. A big round of applause for all of them as we watch this important video.
I'm Josh Parrish with Parish Leasing and Parish Dedicated Services.
And I'm Donnie Parrish with Parish Leasing and Parish Dedicated Services as well.
We support remedylive because Remedy meets people where they are in the moment with no strings attached. Something that we try to do in our companies with our employees. Remedy's been doing that for a while, doing it well, and doing it consistently.
You never know what life's going to throw you, and things get hard and then get hard in a hurry. And so to have somebody that is there waiting to listen to your story, to have an intentional conversation with you, just to meet you where you're at, and just to be a listener. At the end of the day, we want to know that everyone has hope, no matter what their situation is. And we know where that hope is. And Remedy, they live that out as they invest in the lives of those who trust them.
We're incredibly grateful for Remedy Live and all that it does, bringing meaningful conversations to those who need them.
Yes. Now, I'm blessed, and I'm not going to embarrass my friend Josh, but Josh is the board chair of Remedy Live and been an incredible leader for our organization. And so tonight he represents the Parrish family, which every year seems to rock the leaderboard. Is it rigged? Is it rigged? Do we know if it's rigged? It may be rigged. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to bless the food. Some of you said, well, I've already started eating. That's okay. We're going to still bless the food. So Josh, will you pray for us tonight?
I will. Yeah, on behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. So let us bow our heads. Lord Jesus, Lord of the universe, of the earth, Lord of Indiana, of Fort Wayne, of Remedy Live, of all the big and the small, thank you for gathering us here tonight. In the Gospel of Matthew, you share with us this about yourself. At the sight of the crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them because they were troubled and abandoned, like sheep without a shepherd. Lord, today you are still the shepherd, and there are many who are still troubled and abandoned. And I ask that you will bless the work of the doctors, the therapists, the counselors, the educators, the judges, police and correction officers, parents, grandparents, Remedy Live, and all those who act as shepherds for the many who are troubled and abandoned. Give them your heart, a heart that feels pity and sorrow, but acts in love and with sacrifice. Help them to be your healing hands. Strengthen their hearts, sharpen their minds, and give them the courage to love others like you do, where they're at and without condition. We thank you for this community, this food, the Clyde, and the work of all those who helped make this event possible. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. Blessings to you. All right, I also want to thank the rest of our sponsors tonight. I think we can pop them up here on the screen. Again, we have platinum sponsors who I introduced already, but our gold sponsors tonight, Parrish Dedicated Services, Bowen Health with their new brand. They're represented here tonight, and we're so grateful for Dr. John and Betty Brandenberger. John's going to be on the stage with me a little bit later. Those are our gold sponsors. Our silver sponsors, Ambassador Enterprises tonight, Baron McNagny, the Comet Organization, of course, Metal Technologies, who we've served many times. I think, 16 times this year, Brandon? 16 times we've served their organization. It's wonderful. Phyllis Financial Group, PAP, we're so grateful for them, and Sweetwater as well, joining us here tonight as silver sponsors. Then our bronze sponsors, the Blackman family, the Chapel, which we're so grateful for. Don Ayers Honda is here. 5 Star Distributing as well as supported us, and their fine products are at the bar tonight. Force Tech is helping these screens look good for us in our technology and helping us with 100 events a year as we produce those events in schools. G6 keeps us safe with cybersecurity. So grateful for Judge Ashley Hand in our community, Marta Doster Interiors, MPS Egg Farms, Parkview Behavioral Health is here, and Dr. Mahmood and his team, so grateful for them. PNC Bank, the Tin Caps organization, you're gonna hear a little later from Michael Nutter, and then our very own Tandra Call. Will you give them a big round of applause for helping us tonight? Again, we can't do these events without incredible sponsors, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to Summit Financial Group, again, up in the balcony and all that they do for us.
Hi, I'm Rob Hayworth with Summit Financial Group. So it must have been close to 10 years ago that my wife and I first partnered with Remedy Live. At the time, with soon-to-be teenage boys, we were really looking for some education and information on how to have a healthy integration between technology and teenage boys. Remedy Live is truly helping our community. They're working with a variety of organizations from city and state government, for-profit and not-for-profit organizations, and academic institutions, K through 12, as well as universities.
Summit Financial Group loves supporting Remedy Live for a lot of different reasons. For me, the biggest reason is just with kids that are in their adolescent years, in the world that we live in with technology, social media, all the different things that I didn't really have growing up. My wife and I and others have seen a lot of the negatives of all that. And I think bringing that to the forefront is really crucial with the young people in the world today, and having a resource and an outlet for them to go to and communicate, or just knowing that there's people to talk with is huge. For us, I think that's probably the most crucial, is just getting the conversation started.
Visual cortex activated. Neuroplasticity. Parietal lobe. Neurodegenerative. Synapse. Corpus callosum. Diving deep between the ears. Stretch out that pointer finger. Answer quick. Answer correct. It's time to play Remedy Lives. It's all in your head.
All right. Turn to your neighbor and say, it's all in your head. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. It's all in your head. Good evening, good evening. We're going to have some fun tonight. My name is Matt Moore. I'm going to be your host of the It's All in Your Head game show. I've got my polling master in the back. Graham,
Matt?
come
How's
on,
it going? I'm
Graham.
gonna stand
Give
up
Graham a
back
round of
here.
applause
Hello,
back
everyone.
there.
Hello.
So I am one of the Get School Tour speakers. Graham is our director. You're going to see Anthony. Anthony's back there. Give him a wave. Hello, Anthony. So we start every Get School Tour out with some fun and some trivia, and we want to have some fun with you guys tonight. Is that okay? Okay, what I need you to do, I need you to put your smartphone in the hand that you're going to hold it in. I need you to hold it up in the air. And then with your other hand, we got to do some calisthenics with our pointer finger.
I love it.
Okay? All right, get your finger in the air, the one you're going to swipe with. All right, let's do up, sideways, up, sideways. Can you guys see that? Is that too small? How you feeling? Okay, this is why we do this, because the very first person to answer correctly wins the gift card.
In fact, Matt, I think it's even the top 3 people who answer the fastest.
We've got the top 3, and here's the deal. We're also keeping track of every table, because the top 3 tables tonight, one person from that table will join me on the stage for the podium round, which includes not only a gift card, but a Texteractive, It's All in Your Head trophy that is under lock and key currently. Graham?
Matt.
Are we ready? We're doing something else a little special tonight. We're letting you guys pick the topics.
Well, Matt,
okay?
I heard it's because people were upset at my literature-themed questions from last year. Apparently we didn't have a whole lot of readers in the room. So
Graham,
Clinton said that we now
sorry.
have to let them choose the categories.
Oh,
so.
can we just all say, "Aw, for Graham"? Okay, let's
you
put up
all.
our topics tonight. Let's see what we have to choose from.
All right.
They will be on the side screen. Okay, here we go. And you guys will see the live results come in. Are we going to choose expensive taste, color, Top Gun, or women rock? What are we doing tonight? Oh, we've got some Tom Cruise fans out there.
I think Top Gun
This is close.
might be
It's going to be close. What do you think,
Oh,
Graham?
yeah. Definitely Top Gun. Let's
We're
do
going
it.
to go with Top Gun?
Let's do it, Matt.
All right. You got our first question ready to go?
Absolutely.
All
Everyone,
right,
you guys ready?
Get your phones, get your fingers, get ready for the very first question.
All right, here we go. Pushing it out right now. Let's go Wi-Fi.
Here we go. Quoting the film Top Gun at the Real Naval Academy School results in what? 500 push-ups, weekend detention, a $5 fine, dishonorable discharge.
Matt, how many push-ups can you do?
What's that, Graham?
How many push-ups? 500 right now?
5. Is Anthony back there? No.
I think we set him back. He could definitely do 500.
So you're going to see you're going to see the team winners up here at the table, and you will see your individual leaders right here. So Emotional Boat 49. I did not give you the silly name. Graham, did you pick out the silly names tonight?
I didn't.
You did not. All right, let's push out the prize. What is the correct answer? A $5 fine. And Emotional Boat 49 won that one. Table 29 is in the lead. Who's table? Whoa, oh, table 29. Give it up. There we go. All right, question number 2. Graham, how many questions do we have for the Top Gun?
We have 3 questions here for the Top Gun category.
All right, here we go. What increased 500% in the year following the release of the film Top Gun? Porsche 356 sales. I'm going with that one. Naval Recruits, Kenny Loggins album sales, or Ray-Ban Aviator sales. How many of you went out and bought the Ray-Bans? Come on. Anyone run out and buy the Porsche? No, not, okay. All right. What do we have, Graham? Looks like the Ray-Ban Aviators are in the lead.
It is. Unfortunately, that's not the correct answer, Matt.
Naval Recruits.
The Naval Recruits.
Come on. Anyone in the Navy out here tonight? Give it up for those in the Navy.
Yeah,
Give it up.
you.
Thanks for serving our country. All right, we have one more question. Is that right?
We do. If we have a few seconds extra, we might go to a different category. But we've got one more of Top Gun.
Okay, one more Top Gun question. Here we go. Question number 3. How much did Paramount Pictures pay to borrow the Navy ships for the film?
Matt, do you know what that sound is?
That was a funny sound. It's telling us that we're almost done. Like, this is the last question.
It is. I
Our last
thought you
question, here
had
we
your
go.
ringtone still on, but...
That honestly kind of scared me, Graham, if I need to be honest about that.
You look fine from back here, so you're all good.
Thank you. 550,000, 875,000, 1.3 million, 1.8 million. Diplomatic Rocket 61.
Matt, you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Are you guys ready? Okay, and the correct answer is 1.8 million. You guys, this was just round 1. We will be back with more trivia. Enjoy your night. Give yourself a huge round of applause. All right, thank you, Graham.
At Remedy Live, one of our most unique features is how we leverage technology to connect with people and foster discreet, meaningful conversations. People of all ages across the United States reach out by texting 494949 or visiting our website to share their secret struggles. They may have heard about us through the Get School Tour at their school, the Wired Experience at their workplace, or simply found us through a Google search that led them to our team of trained, compassionate soul medics. Our proprietary software, SoulMedic Central, provides a safe, confidential space for individuals to open up, enabling genuine conversations to happen. We believe that what's shareable is bearable, and that's why our dedicated team of paid soul medics listens, supports, and offers guidance without judgment or condemnation. Since its launch in 2014, SoulMedic Central has facilitated over 14 million interactions, creating a bridge of trust and compassion through the power of technology.
Well, hello. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Jeff DeSelm. I am the director of the chat team here at Remedy Live, and I am joined on stage tonight by the one and only Maddie Lyons. Everyone say hello, Maddie. Maddie wears a lot of hats for Remedy Live. She is the SoulMedic administrator. She's our scheduling guru. And she is wearing a new metaphorical hat in her personal life, which is newlywed. Whoa, to that handsome guy right over there. Shout out, KJ. You didn't think you were going to get one of those tonight, huh? All right. But that's not why we're here, Maddie. We're here to talk about the power of a meaningful conversation that you had. So we're going to put up the first interaction. And why don't you just take us back to what happened on this fateful night?
Okay, well, looks like it's still loading up there, but I can begin by saying The specific chat that came through, it was a particular late night shift, and I was not actually supposed to be working because, as Jeff said, I'm an admin assistant, so most of what I do is behind the scenes. But late nights are sometimes difficult to keep fully staffed, so I stepped in to help, and then this was the first message I got from a particular client.
So you weren't scheduled to be on shift at this time. You were
No.
filling in, and tell us a little bit about what the clients disclosed to you during this time.
Yeah, we see a piece of it up here, particularly the client that came through. And we see a large array of things on the chat line, but this one was a hard-hitting topic where it was a person who had just recently experienced a sexual trauma. And they had not told anybody, and it was something that was really weighing on their hearts when they came in, and it was obvious that this was a fresh wound. And so it was a really humbling opportunity for me to get to chat with this person, and this is kind of how they were willing to open up with me and what I could share with them, and so it was really powerful.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the next interaction, if we could, please. What you see here is, what you saw in the video was that what's shareable is bearable. And what we do in Soul Medic Central, our Soul Medics will take time to listen, but many times that listening extends beyond that into what are the next steps. And so if you would, Maddie, tell us a little bit about what we're seeing on the screen here.
Yep, and so our Soul Medics are fantastic. We have a massive resource base that we pull from, and one of those things is helping people who want to get continued help. And so we have resources for different therapists, different crisis locations, different treatment centers, and I happened to pull one from our database. So that's what you're seeing here is I'm sorting through this with the client saying, hey, let's tailor this to you, what would be most helpful. And this was a back-to-back interaction with our client where they then disclosed, I'm fascinated by neuropsychology.
And that's a really interesting, perhaps coincidence, not so coincidental. But one of the amazing things is how the Lord continues to over and over put the right soul medic with the right client at just the right time. Mm-hmm. Because the Holy Spirit was at work in this conversation. Why and how do we know this? Well, tell us, the last thing we see on the screen is that that person is interested in neuropsychology. Why is that interesting, Maddie?
So my job at Remedy is primarily part-time because I actually live in Indianapolis, where I am a third-year doctoral student for clinical neuropsychology. Not a lot of people even know what that is, so my first reaction was to be stunned that someone actually knew about the field. And then it's just really cool to see how that connects and how God can tie things together. And so that was a really cool.
This was just a couple weeks ago.
It was just
this was just a few weeks
recent.
ago. You were not supposed to be on shift, and
Nope.
yet here you are with a person who had undergone some serious and horrific trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And the Holy Spirit set that up in such a way that they happened to talk to you on this night.
Yeah.
And let's look how the conversation ended. It says, I'm going to go now, but thank you so much for the conversation. It started with a handful of pills. And what you see here is that because of the way the Holy Spirit moved, the way that God moved in this conversation, this client went from a plan to end their life to a plan to stay for tomorrow. And so, would you give Maddie a hand, please, on the way that she handled that? Well done, Sister Maddie.
Thank you.
We are so blessed by so many of you in this room and so many organizations represented in this room, and I'd love to take a chance to introduce you to one of those partners right now, which is Neoti.
Hi, my name is Aaron Kipfer. I'm the CTO here at Neoti. We provide LED video displays for a myriad of applications such as broadcast television, corporate applications, and others. Well, obviously, mental health is a major issue in today's society. And here at Neody and myself personally, we've been affected by the tragedy of suicide. No matter who you are, what walk of life that you are, what religion you are, it can affect you in so many different ways, even if you don't think it will. And so for that reason, we feel like partnering with an organization like Remedy Live gives us that opportunity to help potentially save one more person from making the same choice.
I'm Derek Myers. I'm the CEO of Neody. We support Remedy Live because we believe in having the support in our community and the access to meaningful conversations. Not everyone has a network of trusted advisors or friends that they can rely on to help them through the difficult times. And Remedy Live has an amazing program that can not only help you in the moment, but then connect you to other resources for the future. And it's just an amazing organization.
What happens when you put 1,000 students in a gym, add some sounds, lights, a DJ, multiple screens, and an interactive polling network? A pretty exciting event. But what happens when you add meaningful conversation to all of that? You get the Get Schooled Tour. Started in 2016, the Get Schooled Tour is a high-energy, interactive event where students engage in meaningful conversations about their mental health. The 60-minute program addresses topics like screen time, secret struggles, substance use, and the best ways to strengthen your mental health. Following the assembly, the meaningful conversation continues via the Spark It Video Library, which is offered to every classroom so that continued education and engagement can occur throughout the school year. But it's not only for teens. The Get Schooled Tour Junior is piped right into the classroom from the Remedy Live studios, so children as young as kindergarten can be taught the importance of talking about their mental health. Since the pandemic, the Get Schooled Tour has served over 150,000 students, reminding each one how much their life matters. Because as we know, the struggle is real, but so is hope.
I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you this evening, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the last, but we really are grateful that every single one of you is here. Texteractive is such a great evening where we can look back at the year and celebrate all the accomplishments, but also look forward to the excitement of 2025 and beyond, and we couldn't do that with all of your support, so thank you. My name's Graham Brown. I'm the Get Schooled Tour. I'm also thankful to be your poll master this evening, so it's nice to be up here on stage. That's kind of fun. When we were as a Get Schooled Tour team talking about what we wanted our segment this evening to look like, the one thing we all had in common is we wanted a story. And a lot of different stories played through our mind, but one single school kept popping into our heads. And so I'm actually going to step aside and hand it off to my good friend, Get Schooled Tour speaker, Anthony Pons, and a really special guest.
How you guys doing out there? Oh, yeah. So my name is Anthony. I'm the Get Schooled Tour speaker, and I get an opportunity really to be on the front lines and to speak to students and walk with them on their mental wellness journey. And we're so grateful. If you haven't heard the theme so far, we love meaningful conversations. And in that love for meaningful conversations, at the Get Schooled Tour, we are afforded the opportunity to have 60-minute convocations that dive into how do we support our youth with their dealing with what we call a secret struggle. To get it out and then to find a trusted adult that you can chat with and connect with, that we can walk with you for you to find help. And so that's what we do. And we brought along with us Tracy Vivo. Can you guys give Tracy a round of applause, please? Oh, yeah. And the reason is Tracy came all the way from Lowville, Ohio. Lowville Community Schools, which is the east side of Ohio, right outside of Youngstown. And Tracy heard about our program. We got a chance to serve Henry County in West Ohio. And she heard about us all the way in East Ohio. Now, as the Get Schooled Tour speaker, we get a chance to knock on doors of schools and to try to get in and say, we want to have this conversation. But very rarely do we actually hear from someone who reaches out to us after walking through tragedy to say, we want you guys to support our students. So Tracy, I want to start off just by asking you, can you share with us your school, what you guys walk through, and even some of the events that occurred at your school that caused you to reach out and want the Get School Tour in your building.
Yeah, absolutely. Tragically, in May of 2022, we had a young man, 6th grade student, die by suicide in our school cafeteria in front of his classmates. And from that point forward, it became essential that we had just a plethora of wraparound services for students. And I actually wasn't at the school district at that time. I was actually working in Youngstown City Schools nearby. And I heard this story, and it broke my heart. And the next thing you know, I'm getting a call from the superintendent who I worked with before to come in and be a behavioral health and wellness coordinator there. And so since that time, I've been working really closely with other behavioral health and wellness coordinators throughout the state, and someone told me about this Get Schooled tour. I was looking for something relevant, something that just really would capture the hearts of our students and also be engaging, because it's really hard in our digital technology, that in this age, most of us are digital immigrants, to get someone who's, connecting with someone who's a digital native, and those are our students. And so I was so grateful to meet this team, to meet Remedy Live, to have them come in. They're just fantastic. You guys were amazing that day, and we appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And as the behavioral health and wellness coordinator, what were some of your biggest takeaways of the Get School Tour and even the conversations and impact that you saw at your school for the people out here who support us so dearly?
I think that data piece is so important. It really gave me a glimpse into the minds of our students, what's going on, how are we going to address this? When I get that feedback back, and we know that it's genuine, it's live, they're using their devices, we've got all of this interactive events happening throughout the event. You've got Anthony out there, and he's just so engaging, and a DJ, and they're really into it, and they're answering on the fly. So that feedback for us as I move forward with prevention and early intervention is really impactful for us.
Were there any students that you recall, any students that you remember that came up to you afterwards about the Get School Tour and how it affected their lives and what it meant to them?
Yeah, I can think of one in particular, Anthony, I think that really connected with you. And he's a student that we've had our eye on for some time, and he's quite closed off and quiet, and for him to just come up to the team and start talking with all of you and opening up in the way that he did, I thought is really special. Last question, because there may be some people out there who not only support us but are thinking about it, and what would you tell our supporters about how much it means to you, and how did the Get School Tour come to your school, and how was it funded, and how did that actually help to bring support to you guys? So in my role, I'm working really closely with Project Aware, which is something that's a national organization, and I'm also working closely with Miami University. And they were able to work with us to help provide some of that funding, but then I also have to really thank the Zurich Family Foundation here and all of you who are supporting this work. It is so important, it's so impactful. The mental health crisis for our youth is real. We know that suicide is the second leading cause of death for youth ages 10 to 24. So thank you so much, and thank you to all of you for what you're doing. Can you guys give Tracy one more round of applause, please? And I want to thank all of you out there for coming again. I know there's so many faces that even on our Get School Tour tour, I have encountered a lot of your faces at school, so thank you as well. Next up, we are going to have the Bowen Health. One of the things we do in our schools is we set up a talk room in which we want students to go after if they have something they're dealing with. We want them to go to this talk room. Bowen Health helps provide the manning of that talk room so that students can have professional counseling help, and that helps us. So allow this video to show. Thank you guys again. I'm Anthony with the Get School Tour, and we really appreciate you.
Hello, I'm Jamie Yates, Bowen Health County Director. We just changed our name from Bowen Center to better reflect all the services we offer. We're dedicated to providing compassionate healthcare, regardless of your income, so that you can live your best life longer. Bowen Health is pleased to partner with remedylive and the other Texteractive sponsors to continue the conversation because no one has to struggle alone. If you need us, remember, mind, body, Bowen.
Okay, get your phones out. It's time for some It's All in Your Head.
All right, round two. Get your phones, get your fingers ready. It's a new round, new topic, new winners. But before we go, Graham.
Yes, sir.
What are the top 3 tables so far?
Oh, throwing me on the spot here. Give me 1 second. So far, top 3 tables are table 10, which is the Comets.
Where's 10? Where's 10? Oh, we can
Very excited about it.
What's the next
In
table?
second place is table 8, which is Sweetwater.
Table 8, table 8.
I'll cheer you for you, table 8. Well done.
All right, come on, table number 1. Okay, who's the
And
first
then
place?
table 13, which is the Tin Caps.
Hey, all right,
Go, a
you
little
guys,
more
here we
excited.
go. We're going to let you pick the topic once again.
I think they already have.
Oh, they did.
Got some Tom
here we go.
Hanks
Tom
fans in
Hanks.
here.
All right, we have a bunch of movie buffs out here tonight. All right, we ready for question number 1? Graham, you
do it.
ready?
Here we go.
Here we go. Question number 1. Tom Hanks is a distant relative of which U.S. president? Oh, I don't even know the answer to this one. Graham, do you know? Oh, you've got the answers right in front of you. Okay, here we go. George Washington.
I think I actually made that question too, so
Oh, you did?
I don't think I'm allowed to answer that.
All right, it looks like everyone's saying James Madison, but what is the correct answer?
Maybe some movie fans, but not
Abraham
history
Lincoln.
fans, Matt. It's Abraham Lincoln.
Whoa! But who played Abraham Lincoln in the movie? Does anyone know the actor? Daniel Day-Lewis, that's right. They should have grabbed Tom Hanks. Okay, question number 2, here we go.
Striking family resemblance.
Tom Hanks was the youngest person ever to receive what prestigious award? A Nobel Prize, an Oscar for the Best Actor, the Palme d'Or, AFI Life Achievement Award. What does the crowd think tonight? We have leaderboard this round as Ambassador. Parkview Behavioral Health just jumped up to Ambassador jumped back up to number 1. It's back and forth. We got to fight for first place. Graham, what is the correct answer?
The correct answer is AFI
Life Achievement. 45%, the majority of you. All right, good job. We got some smart individuals out here tonight. Okay, question number 3. And this will be our final question, this topic. What item is Tom Hanks an avid collector of with a personal collection of over 2,000? Wow, kaleidoscopes, flashlights, rulers, or typewriters? Oh, Graham, you did good on these questions.
That
This is
question
a great
wasn't me.
question.
I can't take the credit for that one.
Yeah. So everyone's saying
2,000
typewriters.
rulers?
I think that would be my
That's a
guess too. I think I would
lot of
lean towards the
rulers.
typewriter. All right, we have Ambassador Enterprises is in the number 1 spot this round. Ambitious Tiger 25 is leading this one. There we go. Come on, some excitement. Graham, what is the correct answer?
Correct answer is typewriters.
That's
Well
right.
done.
All right, you guys, give yourselves a huge round of applause. We'll be back for another one in a few minutes. Thank you, Graham.
Thank you, Matt.
Good evening. I'm Dr. John Brandenberger. I'm a family physician and coroner of Allen County. My wife Betty and I are passionate about our support of remedylive because of what they do, and that is to bring hope to hopelessness, from mental illness, anxiety, and depression. In 43 years of medical practice, I have not seen as much anxiety and depression as I have the past 3 years. And in the coroner's office, myself and deputies see the tragic end of hopelessness, suicide, and overdoses. across the age spectrum from preteen to older adults. And we know that there is always hope. It's a matter of getting the message out there. And there is no organization that I know of that gets the message out to the community better than Remedy Live. The message of hope through the beginning of meaningful conversation. Thank you, Clinton and Tanya and the Remedy Live team, for what you do. It makes a difference. God bless you.
Remedy Live helps people get the meaningful conversation started in their organizations through our corporate wellness program called The Wired Experience, an interactive program that uses anonymous live polling software, corresponding data, and immediately helpful mental health information tailored to your specific needs in order to get those meaningful conversations started. Corporations have found that asking their people, "How are you?" really can increase both productivity and retention. But why is this? We believe it's because of the power of normalizing these meaningful conversations. When people in the workforce are listened to, cared for, and encouraged to share their secret struggle, they don't just become more productive employees, they become better people. Lives are saved and strengthened through the work we do at the corporate level, and it all starts with the meaningful conversation starter, "How are you?" really.
Hello, everyone. Welcome so much to tonight. My name is Brandon Butts. I am the leader of strategic partnerships for Remedy Live, and one of the reasons why I have that title is because of the people sitting in this room. There are so many organizations and people rowing in the same direction to save and strengthen lives. So I have been blessed to see all the people moving in that same direction and aiming to partner with them so that we can continue to do this together. I'm also head over that corporate wellness program called The Wired Experience, and I love it, and I love leading it. And I could sit up here and talk about it all day, but I figured it would be better to let Sam Rich tell his story. Let's listen to Sam.
I'm Sam Rich. I'm the general manager with Standale Home Studio in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Probably 18 months ago, I was lucky enough to bring the Wired Experience into Grand Rapids through the owners of our organization and have a chance to bring a topic of mental health and mental awareness to quite honestly, an industry that tends not to talk about it. And had a chance to see over 200 staff members go through different sessions of the experience and quite honestly be asked things of themselves that we don't tend to ask as leaders. I think back to a designer of mine who for many years in her life has dealt with mental illness, and I do think always struggled on how to quantify what that was. The best way to work through it was to really disappear from life for a few months at a time. But the Wired Experience, when we brought that in, I watched her become brave enough to then seek other help. I know for a definitive fact that she gives credit to our company from bringing the Wired Experience in and really just encouraging her to think through this differently than she had in the past. I was not prepared for the change in my own heart. I was personally at a time where we had just buried my grandmother. She was an integral part of our life and the legacy that had become my family. Deeper than that, though, it took months later, as these things tend to do, still processing through. Ultimately ended up having a conversation about the experience with my brother. What really came of that was acknowledging a trauma that I think I tried to bury for many years. And then how that trauma evolved into, sexual traumas in our own family. Things that my brother and I had not acknowledged for 30 plus years. Working through this and talking about these traumas and how great our life was actually really brought back to life that there were traumas we weren't acknowledging. And it opened up the door for a meaningful conversation that I believe today has forever changed his and I's life. It has definitely changed my own. There are things that I don't have to think about anymore, and realistically gave me the opportunity to ask for forgiveness and have a conversation that we had never had. And some sadness to learn how those seeds had, grown in other ways of his life. And it wasn't a part of what I thought would come from the Remedy Live. I did not expect, honestly, to unbury the darkest burden inside of my soul. And it gave us that opportunity simply by a meaningful conversation tied around the exercise and the app and how cool it was. And so fast forward to there, it gave me the opportunity to share it with my wife. It gave me the opportunity to tell her things about our past that I had never talked about. And me now having a better understanding of not only my own legacy, how I can continue to impact that legacy for my daughter and my wife, all the people who are inside of my care, but ultimately the things to look out for, because it's reminded me that Satan does plant a lot of seeds, and this experience helped me work through some of those. If you're like me and you're coming to the table with any version of trauma, no matter how large you look that to be, my biggest encouragement to you would be reach out. Reach out to the support that's available through Remedy. Reach out to the 24-hour chat hotline. There are resources available no matter the size of what you're going through, and people who actively want to help. My encouragement would be simply to make that first step. Don't wait for your company to put it in front of you, but utilize the resources that are there. Start unpacking the trauma that you're working through with a great team here to help with that.
Sam's story is so cool, isn't it? It's been an incredible privilege for me to go in and see all these different stories unfold in the workplace. I don't have time to talk about more than one, but I did want to mention one. When I'm speaking, and hopefully this isn't happening out there in the crowd right now, I pick up on nonverbals. You ever do that? Anybody ever get real worried when you see somebody, oh, they do something? So we have these booklets, and I'm giving the presentation for the Wired Experience actually at Metal Technologies in Auburn. So another shout out to them. They've been a great partner of ours here in the last couple months. But I was there, and I saw one person look at his booklet while I was talking and do this number. You ever see this? And I thought, oh, great, I've lost this guy. And so the whole rest of this presentation, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, man, this guy hates this. He's not buying in or whatever. And all of a sudden, presentation's over, and who do I see but this guy walk up? And he says, I just want to tell you that we just found out, and we're working through the fact that my wife has had to have a serious brain surgery and is having serious brain problems, and it's been causing all kinds of anxiety and mental health issues. And so thank you for being here today, that we can talk about that. And then he was being equipped to have that for his wife. So to see that type of meaningful conversation and that little God wink to say, no, actually he was doing that because he couldn't believe that we were there to talk about the very thing that he needed help with. So what an incredible privilege. And honestly, whether it's the Get Schooled Tour, corporate wellness, going into churches, we see ourselves on the Remedy Live team as missionaries on the front lines, having these meaningful conversations that ultimately will hopefully lead to people discovering the ultimate remedy, which is Jesus. Thank you very much.
Okay, get your phones out. It's time for some It's All in Your Head.
Those phones again. This is the last and final round. So this round is important because it will determine what 3 tables join me on the stage for our final podium round.
Now, Matt,
Yeah,
real quick,
Graham.
I have to address something that was brought up to me back here in the booth.
This sounds serious.
It is serious.
Okay, yeah, let's have it.
I'm sure you guys all noticed that at the top right corner of your phones, you have a ranking and a group ranking, correct? Now, every time we push out a new block, your rankings reset. So if you say that, hey, my table's number 2, for example, not that this would ever happen, but if someone were to come up to me and say, hey, Graham, I was number 2 and you didn't announce my table, that's because I had to reset it in order for us to go to the new block, all right? So does that make sense, Matt? Not that this would ever happen or anything?
Does that make sense, everyone?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, all right, did we pick our topic?
It looks like we've got musicians.
Musicians, all right, musicians again. There's still time to become one of the top 3 tables.
Absolutely.
So here we go with question number 1. Whitney Houston, one of my favorites, required a Mercedes-Benz S-Class 600 for tour transportation. also needed what? Painted white, cooled to 68 degrees, armored, stocked with Zimas. What does the crowd say?
Matt, I was born in 1995. What's a Zima?
Okay, let's not go there, Graham. I was born in 70 and I still don't know where they are. So, what are Zimas? Okay, I didn't understand.
We're gonna move on.
All right, what did the crowd say? They said, oh, needed to be armored, which made sense. That made sense, right? She had some threats. So, all right, we had table 38 is in the lead on that question. All right, question number 2. Which Grammy Award-winning duo was caught lip-syncing during a live performance in 1989?
Oh.
I do remember this, Graham. I saw them.
I wasn't born yet, so I don't remember.
Oh, it was a scandal. Scandalous. And the crowd knows.
Milli
Indigo Girls, Milli
Vanilli.
Vanilli, Wham, Kid in Play. Oh, they know this one, so go ahead and reveal it. We all know it was Milli Vanilli, those lip syncers. All right, good job, you guys. Question number 3. How many questions do we have on this round, Graham?
I think we've still got a couple more if we've got time.
Okay, so that's
as long
good
as
news
the buzzer
for you
doesn't
guys.
go.
Good news for you guys. Which singer would request that a lady's hairdryer be among the items in his room after performance? Where did you come up with these questions, Graham?
This was actually, shout out to Duke Fopple who came up with some of
Hey,
these. So
Duke,
well
all
done,
right, give
Duke.
it up for Duke. Kurt Cobain, Michael Jackson, Jimi Hendrix, James Brown. I think I would go with James Brown. That's what I would say.
Okay. And you don't know the answers,
I
correct,
don't know
Matt?
the answers. No, I have not seen them. Okay, so.
Well done, because it is James
Hey,
Brown.
James Brown, give it up. Give it up. All right. How many more? We have 2 more, Graham?
Let's do 2 more. I think we've got time, yeah.
2 more questions. You guys got this. Don't give up. Your tables, you can still come in. And the top 3, okay, Meg and Jack White from the White Stripes originally claimed to be brother and sister. They were actually what? Third cousins, complete strangers, college roommates, husband and wife. Do we know why they lied about that, Graham?
I do not.
We have no clue. They just lied. What were they? Well, the
Sarah
crowd
and
says
Abraham
husband and
issue
wife.
going on there.
Are they correct? Is the majority correct this evening?
Let's find out. Well
They were
done, they
husband
are.
and wife.
Husband and wife.
Awesome, good. You guys are smart out there tonight.
So one more, Matt? One
Okay,
more?
we have one more. Last
Right.
question. Is that right, Graham?
Last one, here
So
we go.
last one, and then we will announce the top 3 tables that will join me on stage. A member of which famous musical trio was pardoned by President Jimmy Carter? Emerson, Lake and Palmer, The Police, Peter, Paul and Mary, or Cream? Ooh. I think I would go with the crowd on this one. I think it was Peter, Paul, and Mary. Are they
Peter,
right,
Paul,
Graham?
and Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Hey,
are.
give yourself a round of applause. You guys were amazing. Okay, Graham, we need to announce the top 3 tables, and one person from that table will join me for the podium round later on this evening. Graham, do we have the top 3 tables?
We do, Matt.
Shout them out loud. Let's hear.
I feel
Who
like
will
there's
join me tonight?
Anyone else nervous? Anyone anxious? You guys feeling good? Okay. In third place.
Third place.
We have table 13, the Tin Caps.
13.
Well done, well done. But Matt, now they'll join you up a little bit later. In fact, I believe one of the Remedy Live staff will come get you, so you can hang tight in your seat for a little bit. But
All
just
right.
keep in mind that you will be joining us for the podium here shortly. So
And
table
number
13, the Tin Caps.
Okay.
In
Next
second
one.
place is table number 2.
Table
Brothers
number
Express.
2. Come on. Awesome.
Table number 2, well done.
They're already choosing who's not going on stage over here.
Play a little
We'll
game of
point that
nose
out.
goes.
All right, so who's in first place tonight and will
in
join me on
first
stage?
place is table number 40. The big 40.
Where's 40? Are they way in the
Table
back? Give it
number
up, 40. Where are you?
Got them right over here.
Hey, all right, you guys, hold
Love
tight. Someone
it.
from Remedy staff will come get you. Well, this next individual that will take the stage is an honor for me to announce. He's not only the co-founder of Remedy Live and our executive director and visionary, he's a friend to many of us. And so I take a lot of honor in announcing Clinton Foppel.
Right.
Give it up for our director. Thank you.
Some real interesting conversations for the next, I don't know, half an hour before we say goodbye to you for the evening. It was probably about 8 months ago, maybe a bit more, that Dr. Brandenburger asked if I would be part of a press conference. As our coroner, he was seeing more and more overdoses in our community around the issue of fentanyl. And we were honored, of course, to serve him and to serve our community by being part of that press conference. Well, what came out of that was a request, and Chris, I know you're our deputy coroner somewhere in the room here as well. There he is. Thank you, Chris. We were privileged to be able to serve our district, our area, our region with some PSAs, some videos that our team created to be able to get in front of 100,000 kids a year, to buy some commercial space on our network television, to get on online video. And what you're about to see is one of our first PSAs that you'll start seeing more and more on TV as we also promote it here in schools. So take a look at the first PSA around the One Pill Can Kill campaign.
Hey.
Hey, how was your day?
Fine. I just got this science test to study for.
Yeah, well, make sure you focus tonight. You've got to start thinking about graduation.
I got it, Ma. But I never make it to graduation. I don't even make it to the morning. A friend of mine gave me a blue pill. He said it helped me stay awake for longer so I could study more. But what I don't know is that pill was laced with fentanyl. Once I take it, the drug will tell my brain to slow my breathing down until I suffocate, and my mom finds me dead in the morning. Guess I should get started on it.
Okay, I love you. See you in the morning.
Night.
That PSA was written by students for their peers, because so many kids that we work with through the Get School Tour and in the Fort Wayne Community School community are tired of watching their friends overdose on this substance called fentanyl. Tonight, I am blessed to have Dr. John Brandenburger, our coroner, back on the stage with me. And this year, I get to also introduce Dr. Tom Gutwein, our Allen County Health Commissioner and ER physician, to join me for a candid conversation as we begin our time for the rest of the evening here, meaningful conversations around mental health. Tonight, I'm going to start with you, Tom. You know, the uniqueness of Remedy, uniqueness is a polite word, the weirdness of this organization. We're not a health agency, we're not a hospital group, we're not medical staff. We're kind of a normalization agent. You know, we're doing these Get School Tours. In fact, some numbers here, 40 wired experiences, 77 schools in the last 6 months. Why do you feel, as our health commissioner, that an organization like Remedy, and you coming out tonight to be a part of our audience and part of our stage crew here, why are we a normalization agent that's needed in our community?
Well, normalization is critical to get this conversation going so that people are able to just freely talk about what their issues are. As an emergency physician, we see people in the ER every day that have substance use disorder issues, mental health issues, medical issues, and it's easy sometimes to talk about medical issues. We can sometimes talk about diabetes, and people know what diabetes is, but people don't always recognize what mental health issues are and how those are tied sometimes to substance use disorder issues. So the more we can get out and normalize this, just like we talk about tobacco use, or just like we talk about diabetes or health conditions like that, the more people can freely have those conversations. And many times in the emergency department, when we start to have a conversation with a family about a substance use disorder or possibly a mental health disorder, they don't really want to talk about it. They don't really know how to respond. Until they hear those words several times, they're just really starstruck or awestruck. And then they have to start realizing that. So as I mentioned, the more people can hear about it, the more we can just talk about it freely, like it is something that's out there because we know it's out there, then the more we can make meaningful change.
And John, thank you. John, you are a family physician, and we've had a few candid conversations about when clients come and see you and they're looking for their physical, you're going beyond just helping them with their medical. You're concerned about their overall well-being, physical, spiritual, the whole thing. When you hear Tom talk about the ER and people caught in crisis and coming sometimes on death's door, really. Last time you were with us, you talked a lot about hope. And that's a four-letter word that a lot of us need more and more of in our world today. But why do you, as our coroner, seeing the despair and the destruction of the society that we live in, combined with what Tom just shared about the crisis in our ERs, how do you see remedylive as a hope agent?
Well, in the coroner's office, we see the end result of hopelessness. We see overdoses, and something that I've thought a lot of lately is I would guess a lot of people are taking a pill to numb the hopelessness.
Yeah, I'm going to pick on Dr. Mahmood. Where's Dr. Mahmood in the room? Is he out there somewhere? Maybe he didn't make it tonight. Dr. Mahmood would say the same thing, that we become such a pill-easy solution in our society.
Yeah, a numbing, not just a high, but maybe a numbing. And then the reality of suicides, as of today, as of noon today, we were at 42 suicides in Allen County for this year, the same time last year. It's all tragic, but when we see kids killing themselves, it is so hard for myself and our team. We had, so far this year, we've had 11 kids under 21 years old, 6 boys, and one was 15 and one was 17, and 5 girls. Last year we didn't have any girls. This year we've had 5 girls, ages 12, 13, and 15 among them. Just hopeless despair, and we know that we walk around with pockets full of hope to pass out. When I see a patient in the office and discuss hope with them, I can tell when they start getting it, they make eye contact, they may sit up straighter, and I know that they're hearing. And the thing, Clinton, that I just love to picture is where there may be 1,000, 1,200 kids in a get-schooled auditorium. And if I were looking out at the auditorium, I would not be able to see hope beginning to well up. But if I had a super spiritual power where I was able to see in hearts and souls, what I picture is all over that auditorium, I would see sparks that would begin to kindle in the hearts and souls of these kids that you reach, and how important it is. Tom and I are both in healthcare, but when it comes to listening and having meaningful conversation, that doesn't count. We're normal people, I think, like you are. And so any opportunity that we have to listen and to dispense hope, I think is an important thing. So Tom and I, for example, we're like sitting on the end of a pier. We each have a fishing pole, and we occasionally catch one, and we look out and see this huge boat with a bunch of people on it and a big net, and that's what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
And that's what we love, and that's what we appreciate and want to do to support. So remember, our pockets full of hope, and learn how to begin meaningful conversations, to begin passing it out a little at a time.
I'm always so encouraged by you. Thank you for that vision.
Thank you.
Tom, I'm going to call an audible and throw you a curveball here, but I know you're up for it. At a fundraiser for a nonprofit, you should never ask this question or cast this vision, but with the numbers that John just gave us of people dying by suicide, and I sit in this seat as the executive director of Remedy discouraged, because those are people. Those are someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's...
Didn't hear the hope.
They didn't hear about that hope. It's easy to get down and discouraged because the numbers are increasing around suicide. But as our health commissioner, what's your vision for our community to make sure that we don't give up, that we keep going even though the numbers continue to rise?
That's a great question. And I think that, as health commissioner for Allen County, I think, my overall arching goal is to make the best county in the country. I want to make this the best place for anyone to live, the best place to raise a family, the best place for people to enjoy each other. And socialization is so important. But I think from Remedy Live, what I'd like to see, what you guys are doing, which is so impactful, is that we reduce the stigma. As I mentioned before, I think talking about mental health, recognizing that people have struggles every day with mental health, reducing that stigma is number one. Number two is the fact that you're available 24/7, and you have access for people so they know where to go, so they know what they can do to ask questions, to find out how far down really are they, where can they go to get some help. And I think the third thing is for people just to recognize the fact that of the signs and symptoms of mental health or substance use disorder. And I think that people don't always recognize that. Just like when somebody first has, as I mentioned, diabetes, it's sometimes hard for people to understand why they have diabetes, how that came on. Mental health is no different. Mental health, in my mind, is similar. If you're diabetic, sometimes your sugar is going to be just running right at the 120 where you want it to be. Sometimes it's going to be really high. Sometimes it's going to be critically high, and you're going to need to be in the hospital to get that straightened out. And sometimes it's going to be really low. And just like everyone's mental health, it's high and it's low, and we want to keep it in the middle. We work really hard every day. We do those things that keep us healthy. We read, we exercise, we try to interact socially. But some people don't understand that, and until agencies like yours, which is the best one that I've ever seen, and the great thing that we have we are so fortunate to have you guys here, because for our county and for the state and for the country, as far as that goes, you're able to reach thousands and thousands of people, and that's so critical. Because casting that wide net, as John mentioned, is so important.
I'm honored that you'd say that. Parents are in the crowd, and we saw some data earlier of us asking them, are you having conversations? Many of them are having those conversations with their kids. When I do parent workshops, sometimes it's single digits. We're a busy culture. I need to ask you, John, why do mom and dad now have to get in the game when it comes to jumping past the shame, past the stigma, past the potential for awkwardness, and ask their kids about things like suicide and what we're seeing with the fentanyl trends in our community?
Yeah. When I showed that video, One Pill Can Kill, to some of my office staff, one of my nurses in her 50s said, well, that's not realistic. That mom didn't say anything. The kid didn't say anything. She didn't engage him. And a younger nurse said, that's how it is. I get home from work, I'm tired, I'm just looking for something to entertain me, but nothing does. He comes in, and it's just short conversations where we don't look at each other. So the commandments that Jesus gave us, love God and love others. And loving others begins at home and with the circle of friends that you have around you. And for me, when I think of loving, The word that comes to my mind is listening. And if family and people know that you're an eager listener, and I think they're more free to talk. Now, like with our granddaughters, for example, if I ask how they're doing, fine. No, really, how are you doing? No, I'm okay. And the window stays closed. But occasionally the window opens. And just this afternoon, I had a wonderful conversation with a 14-year-old granddaughter who knew that I was there to listen and that I loved her. And if I can pass that same feeling on to others that I come in contact with, I believe that's what I'm called to do. And then be able to offer hope to them in situations. So parents, I think you have to be in the game. I think you have to know what your kids are looking at online. That has to be monitored. And don't be naive. Well, you know, it won't happen to my kid. And it happens to a lot of kids of parents who didn't think it would happen. So, yeah, God bless you all, you parents, and trust that you do well and learn.
I do want to say, in 2025, I'd mentioned this earlier, Remedy is going to start sponsoring what we call the Parent Academy. And we're going to do it with one family member or 50 parents, because we've got to start somewhere educating mom and dad as to how to have these conversations. In fact, tonight, there's a mom missing from this crowd because 2 weeks ago, she asked her daughter, "How are you really?" And the daughter shared that she was struggling with thoughts of suicide. Since then, the mother's become way more engaged, and they're getting resources. And she's not here tonight because she needs to be with her daughter. And I applauded that when she called me today and said, "I'm not able to come." And I loved it. I love it. Will you join me in a round of applause for these two incredible men? Yeah. I am, it's so funny, I just have to pinch myself often when I get to sit with guys like you, and the credentials that you have, but the leaders that you are, and the humility I see in both of you as citizens in our community. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity also.
Well,
Thanks,
we're blessed. Now, John and Tom, you both know of Tommy and Nate from Allendale Treatment. These guys are everywhere. We're privileged that we get to produce the Bare Knuckle podcast. And even the name Bare Knuckle, it scares me that they're going to come in and beat me up. But we're so grateful that Allendale's here tonight. And I want to show their sponsorship video as well, because they came behind us tonight to make tonight possible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nate Mullering, Executive Vice President of Allendale Treatment, Allendale Behavioral Health, and Fort Wayne Recovery.
And I'm Tommy Streeter, Regional Director of Community Outreach at Allendale Treatment, Allendale Behavioral Health, and Fort Wayne Recovery.
Here at Allendale and Fort Wayne Recovery, we are truly committed to combating the drug and mental health crisis that's facing our community. And we work hand in hand with local partners.
The reason we love partnering with Remedy Live is because we share a lot of values with them. We share the same mission as them. And personally, I love the work that they're going into schools and doing, working with young children and encouraging them to talk about their mental struggles. Remedy Live is all about meeting people where they're at, getting out in the community, and we believe in the same.
Not only do we both meet people where we're at, but we help them get where they need to go.
I love this, guys. You know, when we started working with Nate and Tommy, and Nate's an incredible story, because some of you know Nate's grandmother, Shar Binkley, is the co-founder of Remedy Live. And it was a God thing that Shar was, in many ways, dumb enough to ask me to help her start this thing, because as we started it and it began to grow, we watched Nate, get sober. And we watched Nate not only go into recovery and become able to stand, but now to be a superhero in this space. He's up there. Will you give Nate a big round of applause? Because I admire him so much. Nate introduced me to our next guest, and before he comes out, I want to show you just a short clip of what we're doing with this organization, FW22. And while we are talking about this, Graham, as our poll master, I want you to search for the ability for us in our polling to be able to open up a kind of a fundraiser within the grand fundraiser of Texteractive, and to be able to support some of the initiatives that we're helping FW22 achieve. But check this out. This is their podcast.
FW22 was created in my garage. We were drinking Jameson and cleaning guns, and we were just so upset that, you know,
hindsight, probably not the best idea, but
we were just so mad that, you know, how do you come home from the service and kill yourself? Like, the enemy's still winning. Where's the help? Why isn't there change? And
well, we both lost a bunch of friends too to suicide.
Have you?
Yeah.
Once they come home. So they were coming home dealing with the trauma. And I had a veteran tell me in my veterans court one time, really sad story. My team, he didn't tell me this. So the veterans have to come check in with me every other week. So they just come to court. I'm on the bench in my robe. How you doing? How's treatment going? All right, I know you slipped. You popped dirty again. Let's get you back on track. Are you going to your therapy? Are you going to, that kind of thing. Ended up, seeing some really horrific things in the war, lost his best friend in the war, and just a struggling human being with wanting to live.
Will you give it up for Jared White, co-founder of FW22? Looking good, wearing pants.
Quite the improvement.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So, first of all, love that Judge Davis was on the podcast. You a big fan?
She's one of my favorite rock stars in the community, absolutely.
Absolutely, and we need more of those types of rock stars. We just met a couple here on the stage a few minutes ago. But, Jared, I think everyone's aware. You'd have to not, be able to see or hear to understand how many veterans are losing the battle and their life to suicide. It's accelerated, higher rates than anywhere else in our community. Can you give us some stats, just how many veterans we're losing to suicide?
Well, so statistically, there's so many different movements that happen in our country. And a few years ago, it was that whole 22 until none, 22 a day. I do this for a living. I know those numbers are much higher, but statistically, one's too many, right? Yeah. To me, it just blows my mind that, you get trained to go, serve your country in war, right? And then you come home and you kill yourself. Like, I don't know. I can't fathom that. It's what helped motivate Tyler and I to even do this. But it's just, if we spent the same type of effort training you to kill somebody, why don't we do that same effort to train you to come home and love your family, become integrated in your community, and use those skills and that mindset that you had and go attack the day in your own community. And I think if we did that, we would be taking over all of our communities for sure.
Yeah. In the next 10 minutes, on your screen, you have the chance to partner with us as we help Tyler and Jared create content like the podcast and everything else that we want to create together, so that we can help those veterans that are scrolling on their phones at home, sometimes drunk, sometimes worse.
Absolutely.
And that's how they seem to be reaching out to you. But the thing that I love about this guy, and if you haven't figured this out, he's a little bit different, but that's the beautiful part about it, is reaching out and helping those that have served our country take a very special superhero. And you know that we're in the suicide prevention business at Remedy. We partner a lot with our state, 14 million interactions since 2014, and yet we have so much to learn from you, because it's not quite the same when you want to help a veteran who's struggling. Can you kind of give us a glimpse as to why it's so much harder to reach a veteran and why we need people like you that have served to do that act?
Well, veterans are stubborn. They're very stubborn. I mean, I'm stubborn. My daughter knows I'm stubborn. Everybody I know knows I'm stubborn. But it's really hard to help us if you didn't, whether you went to war or not, you took an oath for your country to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And so it's really hard for us to come home when we're supposed to, be that hero, right? And ask for help. It's really hard to be transparent. I love and hate that I do this. I hate because my days are dark. It's sexual.
You were late getting here tonight because you were in the hospital with a veteran.
I know. I was like, Clinton's gonna be so mad.
I was furious.
But yeah, I was like, uh-oh. But that's my life, and I chose that. And so I have two missions in life: to be the best father to my amazing daughter, and to let humans know that I love you, right? And obviously my passion is the military, because even though you can't tell by my awesome physique, at one point I was a pretty sweet war fighter, in the Marine Corps. And then my friends literally, and I know it sounds ugly, but it's reality, they literally started blowing their brains out. And I thought, this is wild. Like, how do we have all these memories together, being miserable sometimes, not even in combat, and then you go to combat, and you really build those bonds, and then you come home and you kill yourself. Like, why? Makes no sense. But it's because and I know Nate, my good buddy Nate, he talks about it a lot too, but they're discouraged. They have no purpose. If the average military person serves 3 to 5 years, so you probably didn't even earn enough rank to be able to give authority in the military. So you're used to being told what to do. And then you come home, no one's telling you what to do. And then, the older population, those warriors from Nam and everywhere else, they had it way worse than I did in Afghanistan, but they have no troops to direct anymore. So you get discouraged, you lose your purpose, you lose your identity. And that's why I love being who I am. So far I think I've done great. 0 cuss words, right?
You've done really well. I was so nervous to bring him on stage.
So,
where's Nicole?
Yeah.
Is Nicole in the room? Nicole's our executive coordinator, our receptionist. There she is in the back. She meets Jared at the front, and it's just so wonderful. Nicole, I hope you have a better influence over this guy.
Yeah. So I said no cuss words. I'm gonna be honest. I do have a chew-in though.
That's all right.
But I got a big chew-in. I was nervous. But when I go out in the community and they see this bearded, tatted, terrible language, cussing, chewing, like, they feel safer on me, because they're not like, oh, this guy's not better than me. Half the time the way I dress, they think I was probably sleeping in my car, right? and so I love using that as my platform to just tell anybody, even if I've never met you, I love you. Yeah. And it's okay.
And it comes across, that's why it didn't take long for us to say we want to partner with you. It's not a formal marriage, but it sure feels like a serious dating
Consistency
relationship.
is what it was. I made darn sure I was getting in.
I love it. So again, we've got the donation window open right now if they want to donate. But I want you to help explain, because it is hard to understand if you've never served in the military. What kind of content are we going to create together? What kind of video content and what kind of events are we going to do together, so that when we join forces, we're engaging the people that we're talking about here? Because I don't understand it as well as you do, but you talk a lot about the way that we have to use these phones, because that seems to be the world that they are going to reach out to you first.
Yeah, so I love sales. I used to be great at it. And my whole attack for my mission now is I want to take a sales tactic and I want to twist it, right? I need content and I need ad spend money. And by doing that, we do, 10, 20, 30 events a year, which is great. And then the amount of events we go to, it's another 10, 20, 30, which is great. Veterans that are on the verge of killing themselves, they're not out at those events, right? They're in their basement at 10 a.m. drunk, or beating their wife, or shooting up, or playing with a gun and thinking about their buddies they lost in war, or whatever it is. So those stubborn son of a guns, they're in their basement, on their phone, looking at the TikToks and the Facebooks. And so it's really important that we're creating a plethora of content that hits every single person. And and I think we just did at that meeting we had last week with Close for Joe's, when we serve a veteran, it doesn't stop at me. It's their significant other, their kids. And we've done this going on 10, 11 years that, unfortunately, we have a scenario for anybody that's going through it, whether it was a suicide, whether it was an unsuccessful suicide, whether it was, a service member sexually assaulted while in, whether it was somebody that got out and became a heavy addict. It doesn't matter, whether they lost their way with the Lord. I think with your capabilities, your studio, Noah and his genius brain, and then our stories that we have. I think you're using one of them this Friday.
Yeah.
And we have Brandon up there at the Allendale table. We have those stories. And when you're at home, drunk or whatever it is, and you're scrolling on your phone, you're going to see that story that you thought no one else could relate to, right? Because this is only you. No one else has been there, done that. And you're going to see that story, and you're going to say, holy crap, I'm not alone.
We actually would say Holy Spirit.
Hey. Well, I actually would say something different, but I'm trying to, I promise I'd clean it up for you. So, and I'm going to owe my daughter some Celsius if I do cuss.
Yeah, you will.
So, and even though Tyler's not up here, so I think we have 3 tables, table 39, 40,
Where's
41.
Tyler?
Yeah, where is he at?
There he is in the back, co-founder of FW22. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you, buddy. So the reason why him and I make literally the perfect marriage is he's more analytical and reserved. I'm more passionate and blunt. And so it's just really been a great thing. But Tyler and I have done this. Literally, we need the content. We need to, so many nonprofits or events, they put all that money into having the coolest setup and all the giveaways, which is great. But I'm telling you, those currently and what's crazy too is not everybody just comes out and says, I don't want to live, right?
Yeah.
But they're also not used to you just walking up and saying, how are you, really?
Sure.
And so I do that. I'm great at going and vetting people and them thinking I'm some type of creep. I just, I'm trying to, how are you doing? And they're like, whoa. But for the most part, having that content, being able to really post it and publicly have it on all the TikToks and the Instagrams and the Facebooks, I think, and even with this new generation of soon-to-be veterans, they're all on their dang phones.
Sure.
I look at my kids' screen time. It's insane. They're all on their phones. So I just need to be more effective to get in front of them, because if they could just understand that suicide is not the answer, that it's okay to not be okay, that I'm not here to judge you, but yet I'm here to love you, I think more people would be here.
Sure.
But I'm only one person.
Yeah.
So I need your capabilities. We gotta push that content out, because it's happening every day.
Yeah.
And it just breaks my heart.
What I love is what you're doing, Tyler's doing, what FW22 is doing, is you're going into the trenches and you're finding people, you're helping people, and then you're bringing them to us so we can tell those stories. And stories move people, and like you said, at just the right time, and you heard it from Jeff and Maddie earlier, at just the right time, God connects those videos with the veteran who's scrolling. So thank you so much. So what you give now, by clicking on your screen, we're going to put that into a fund for FW22 to create really compelling content like we love to do, so we can continue to work together. Will you give it up for Jared and for Tyler and FW22? Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
love you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Check out this video about meaningful conversations.
What is a meaningful conversation? Is it when you say what's truly on your mind, what's been bothering you or keeping you stuck in a negative mindset? Or maybe it's when you feel valued, encouraged, and that someone is making the time to connect with you, like truly connect. What about when you feel alone? When you don't know where to turn? When your situation, your circumstance is too overwhelming? How important is a meaningful conversation then? At Remedy Live, we're committed to engaging people in meaningful conversations through technology. Whether it's through an interactive event or our 24-hour chat center, we believe that all people have value. So, what is a meaningful conversation? Well, it's about what's on your mind, and we want to help. Everyone wants to be heard, to know they're not alone in their struggle. But most of all, everyone wants to be valued. We are Remedy Live. We chat, we listen, we love.
We're back with more It's All in Your Head. It's time to bring our top 3 teams to the stage as they compete for the Texteractive Trophy. Who will rise to the challenge? Let's meet our contenders.
The anticipated final podium round, and here we are. The top 3 tables have joined with me. So you've each been given a microphone. If you could introduce yourself and tell us which table you belong to.
My name's Nicole Dish, and I'm from table 40 with FW22.
Give it up for Nicole, everyone. Give it up for Nicole. And right here in the middle.
My name is Craig Descala. I'm with Table 2, Brothers Express.
Awesome, give it up.
Yeah.
And our last podium over here.
I'm Trish. I'm with table 13, the Tin Caps.
Awesome, give it up to Trisha. All right, you guys. Graham, are we ready?
We are, but Matt, just to remind, even those of you in the audience are still more than welcome to answer on your phones. In fact, I'm still giving out gift cards to the top 3 people who answer. So even though you might not be up at the podium, you can still win gift cards.
That is a great reminder. So grab your phones. You want to continue to play. The winning table will take home a coveted Texteractive It's All in Your Head trophy tonight, along with extra gift cards. But before we do, you are all given ample time to create a cheer and a dance for your team. So, would you like to go first?
What?
I'm just joking. I'm just kidding you guys. All right, Graham, are we ready for question number 1?
Well, we got to figure out what category first.
The topic.
Well, and looks like we've got some ice cream fans in the room,
Okay,
though.
all right. Here we go. Choose the category. It's ice cream at 55%. That looks like it's the clear winner. Graham, looks like we know what we're going to.
Shall we do some ice cream, Matt?
Let's do it.
All right,
the category
here we go.
is ice cream. The questions will be on your iPad. Ben & Jerry's distinct toppings-filled ice cream came about to compensate for Ben's what? Dislike of ice cream, extremely strong teeth, lack of taste and smell, lactose intolerance. You guys all have your answers in? Looks like table number 1. The Tin Caps answered correctly first, I believe. That would be
Shall
your
we see the
table,
answer,
right?
Matt?
Yeah, you can be excited about that.
Okay.
All right, we'll give it. Okay, you don't have to cheer. Okay, all right. I'll step back. All right, congratulations. Okay, here we go. Next question. Do you guys want the Jeopardy music playing? Would that be helpful? Or no?
Can you sing it, Matt?
Just checking. Here we go, Graham.
Right, here we
Question
go.
number 2. Ooh, John Harrison. Thank you, Graham.
You are so welcome.
You guys can all join in. We all know the song. Are we good? All the answers are in? All right, here we go. What is the correct answer, Graham?
There is 1 million.
1 million.
Great.
Oh my goodness, for tongue insurance. That is crazy. Okay, our next question. And Graham, how many questions do we have in this round?
I believe this is the last one, Matt.
This is the last
So
one.
just a reminder, the winner gets their name on the Texteractive trophy that sits in the Remedy office 24/7. All Remedy staff have to look at it every single day. That could be you, Tin Caps, Brothers Express,
Oh, it is
or
a
Table
beautiful
40.
trophy. All right, are you guys ready for the last and final question?
Last
Are we sure?
one.
Here we go. Okay, here.
Are they
they're
ready, Matt?
Graham. They're ready.
I'm back here. I can
Final
barely see you
question.
guys.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Ooh, in 2008, PETA asked Ben and Jerry's to replace the cow's milk in their ice cream with what? Goat's milk, almond milk, rice milk, breast milk. Really, Graham?
I didn't make these questions, Matt.
That's what I had to announce tonight?
I just wanted to make you say that word on stage.
Right,
that's why.
thank you. All right, they all have their answers.
A lot of almond milk fans.
What
But
is
Matt,
the
are you
correct
ready for the answer?
Graham, What? No.
That's crazy.
No, how many of you believe that is the correct name? Graham, are you sure?
That's what RI says. Remedy Interactive for those of you
Oh
people that
my
make
goodness. Did anyone guess that right? 3%? I want to know who was the 3% out there that actually guessed that.
Matt, do we need to do like one more question? Do we have time? Do we feel like we have to?
Let's do one more question.
All right.
One more question. Okay. Here we go. Last and final question.
Let's do from the category of Full House.
Oh, come on.
We've got some excitement.
Full
All
House
right, here
fans
we go.
out there. Here we go.
Last question for real now.
John Stamos is an avid collector of what kind of memorabilia? Well, we know it's not typewriters. It's professional baseball, World War II, postage stamps, or Disney memorabilia. Ooh. Have you all placed your answer? You've all placed? Everyone's done? Hands are down? You guys are good? All right, Graham, I think we're ready for the final answer. What is it?
All right, the answer is Disney memorabilia.
Oh, no way. Awesome. You guys give yourselves a round of applause. Give our contestants a round of applause. But we have
a winner, Matt.
Graham, who is taking home the trophy tonight.
Congratulations to table 13, the tin cap.
Oh, here comes the trophy. Cassandra's bringing it out. Oh, my goodness. Come on, look at that. Tin caps right here, right here. Oh, another round of applause. You got this kind of heavy. You got that? All right. And your name's going to go right here. You guys, thanks so much for joining us. You guys have an amazing night. Thanks for being awesome game contestants. And you guys can follow me. Thanks, you guys. Give yourself another round of applause.
Mike Nutter is known in the Fort Wayne community as the award-winning president of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. Not only has Mike been an incredible blessing to the Remedy Live organization, but both he and his daughter, Caitlin, a sophomore at Indiana University Bloomington, have shared transparent testimonies with Remedy Live regarding their mental health journey. Tonight, we're privileged to hear more from them on the Texteractive stage. Please welcome father and daughter, Mike and Caitlin Nutter.
It is a special treat as we talk about our emphasis in 2025 on parents and grandparents and resourcing. I mentioned the Parent Academy. We're really excited. The Common Organization has come alongside us to make sure that for the next few years we're getting a lot of video play during the intermission times to talk to parents. Mike, you've been amazing. The Tin Caps have given us a lot of exposure. Fourth inning at the Tin Caps games. We're really wanting to make a huge difference. But tonight, this is a big deal because both of you have been incredibly supportive to come into the studio and share candidly about your journeys. And, you know, when I think about, I have 3 daughters. One's at college now, and then, of course, I got the twins. And I think they were here, but they must have saw me come out on stage, and they ran out the back door. But I do want to ask you, Caitlin, as we start this conversation, because it starts really with your journey. What do you remember as you were growing into this young woman now who's at the IU campus, as we talked about earlier, the struggle and where that began to start? And just independent of family, what were you going through that you'd want to share with us tonight?
Yeah, so I remember growing up, and we kind of had a lot of big changes. Like, we moved when we were growing up, and I think that was really hard on me because I had to become people or friends with new people. So that was kind of scary. And then I think growing up too, there were a lot of comments from people around me that I looked up to and I loved about dieting, or like more comments about being prone to sadness that I remember that affected me growing up.
It's oftentimes, we don't realize as parents how often our kids and our friends, the kids' friends, how they're listening to our comments and our statements. And they can be flippant comments, again, about weight or about appearance. And the fragility of our kids, and especially when we're young women like you were, those comments can really strike you to the core. I'm just going to throw a curveball at you. When you when you were going through those formative years, did you like yourself?
Honestly, I can't really remember if I did or not, but I really liked my family, and they loved me. So I think at that point I loved myself too. But it's a lot different now, how I love myself. Now I'm very proud of myself and proud of all the accomplishments I've been through. But I think growing up, I didn't really have thoughts about loving myself that way.
Okay. Mike, you're a busy man. We admire you as a leader in our community with what you do with the tin caps, but you're a dad and you're a husband. And what do you remember about those early days of discovery and watching Caitlin in some of the struggles that she had?
Yeah, it was just so difficult. My wife Beth is out there, and her and Caitlin and our son Carson out there those are my three biggest heroes in life. And at first there is a lot of, why us? What did we do wrong? I'm back there overly competitive, hoping Trish wins the trophy with our name on it, you know. So in this day and age, there's so much of the comparison game, be it online or what somebody's posting. But even at 51 years old, you can get lost in what's really real and things like that. So we started to, there was a little bit of woe is us, like, man, I really screwed this up. I remember one of her treatment facilities, she called and said, Mom, Dad, of everybody in the treatment facility, I'm the only one whose parents are still together.
Wow.
And I looked at Beth and I said, man, then we screwed it up even more than I thought. But all joking aside, though, okay, this is what we are at. I don't know exactly how we got here, but how do we get out of it? And that was a couple-year journey of treatment facilities, all at her decision to check herself in and things like that. And as cliche as it is, just realizing you're not alone and finding those resources. Remedy's one of the best, but other professional help and services to navigate those rough waters.
Again, Caitlin, there's a lot of parents here tonight and grandparents. Share some of the struggles that you were dealing with as a young woman. And I love your honesty. You're still struggling at times, but the beautiful thing is you're vulnerable about it and you've got a support around you.
Yeah, so growing up at a very young age, I started isolating myself. And for any parents that see your child doing this, I think one thing that my family was really good about is I didn't want to hang out with them. I was a moody teenager, but they would make me get out of my bed and make me go on a walk with our dog and play board games all the time. And it was during COVID too, so I would recommend just getting your child out of the house, even if they don't want to at first. It's really helpful.
You mentioned the COVID season, which it was a number of years ago now, but it still feels like yesterday in many ways. What was isolation like for you in those moments? Even though mom and dad were trying to get you out of bed, what kinds of thoughts were you dealing with at that time?
You've talked a lot about social media today, and I think that was like a primitive thing that led to a lot of my struggles in my life now. But I would recommend I think social media should be limited, and that's something I believe in and my family believes in now. But it's such a prominent thing that is instilled in youth, and I think it should just be changed in our culture.
What do you think, as an expert, of course, in the field, what is social media doing to today's teenage mind? And the teenage mind and younger, really, the forming brain time of a person's life. What's happening?
So I'm assuming most of you know TikTok. The For You page, is custom made for yourself. It's your own, makeup of what you've been viewing a lot of. So basically, when you're struggling the most, TikTok kind of targets people. For example, I had an eating disorder, and it kind of targets people in this category, and it will show you a lot of, posts,
Tell them about maybe what you looked at the first time. You wanted to research a couple-minute videos, and then what popped up on the feed?
Yeah, if you're just researching something, it will pop up stuff like promoting it. That's what I was trying to get at. My whole For You page would become videos of people promoting eating disorders or talking way too generally about suicide, stuff that should not be posted online, and it just covers your entire social media page.
So just to make sure we're hearing you right, these are not videos on preventing eating disorders.
No.
or preventing suicide. This is promoting those lifestyles.
Correct.
She's more kind than I am. She was on Instagram, I think, at one point, and entered 10-minute videos in your basement because it was COVID. Nobody knew what was going on. And the next day, you open the app, and the first 5 things listed were pro-anorexia and not getting in shape, but other things beyond that. I'm the brother of a bulimic and the father of a anorexia and bulimia. And so the journey was such that the first treatment facility she elected to go in was one of the first couple faith-based clinics in the United States. She went in at 15 years old. She was the oldest one in there. Wow. And it was like, whoa, we heard some of the numbers before from the doctors about the suicide and stuff like that. I think there was somebody that was 9 years old and maybe had been in for the 6th time. And there wasn't a 7th. She took her own life. And it's like, there's so many people here that want to help, but we don't even know where to begin. Yeah. And that's where you guys come in. And so that's where we're making a difference in the community.
I'm honored that you'd say that, but again, as a dad, I feel like it's my responsibility to get in the game, but it's hard.
It's hard.
There's an enemy of all you parents in the room. I've mentioned him before, and that's the enemy of shame. It's the shame of, what if someone finds out that my child's struggling? I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Can you talk about you and Beth? And I don't want to get into the intimacy of how hard it must have been in your marriage, but marriages don't survive some of these things. So talk about how hard that was for you and Beth as you watched Caitlin struggle.
It was incredibly hard, the hardest thing we've been through. We never wavered in our love for our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
At some point, there probably was some why us. We did the comparison game and things like that. But you're just trying to navigate it and get through. And when we started, we learned that the recovery wasn't linear. We'd be on cloud 9 one day, and man, she's beating it, and we're going to get through this raging eating disorder. And then a week later, we're back, in recovery and starting over and things like that. But Beth and I made the decision, and she's such a powerful lady, my wife Beth, like, we're not looking for attention. But we were in that group and didn't know where to turn. And so by doing a couple of interviews about this subject, Caitlin's been so gracious. She did that interview with you guys. Yeah. I didn't even know she was doing it. She called and she's like, hey, you know those people with Remedy? I said, yeah, we've gotten pretty close. They're doing such amazing things. And she said, they asked me if I'd come in and speak. And I said, are you going to go do that? And she said, yeah, I just did it. And so I was like, good. And so where to turn? Remedy's a source. We can be a source for people. We don't have all the answers. I'm buddies with Nate Mollering that's up there. There's so much more now that even when it manifested in 2020, those things weren't in Fort Wayne yet. That's right. Eating order specific or the stigma.
Yeah.
The stigma was such that I can't talk about that. That means I screwed up as a parent or I'm weak. I'm not worried about the facade. We just want to try and help others.
I love that. You, so proud of you. We've watched your video at staff meeting after you came in and the guys produced it. So vulnerable, so candid. The word suicide is hard for some people to even say because it's so final, it's so desperate, it's such a deeply difficult word. And I'm going to talk to you about that in a second because to ask our child, are you having thoughts of suicide, is one thing. But give us tonight, Caitlin, as we hear your own words, just describe the pain that you were experiencing in your isolation, even around thoughts of ending your own life.
Yeah, so I thought about this question for a little bit, and there's a lot of hurricanes going around in the United States right now. And I think this is a perfect example of what it's like to be struggling with suicidal thoughts or eating disorder thoughts, because basically, it can go away you never know when it's going to come back, and it's going to hit harder. You don't know how hard it's going to hit, and it can come back at any time, so you aren't really sure when it's going to come back. And that's kind of like suicidal thoughts. I'll have really good weeks where I'm with all my friends and having such a good time, and then I'll have periods where I just want to be by myself and isolate myself all the time. So I think it's just like a storm. It can go wherever, and you don't really know how long it's going to last. But I think just like a storm, there are things you can do to get out of the storm, like umbrellas, obviously. So you've talked a lot about hope today. And I think my advice for anyone struggling currently with this or have daughters or sons struggling with this is finding your hope. And I think that's a lot to say. I was sitting in the crowd and I was like, I don't really know what that means. But it's like the small things, I think, for me. So in my video, I talked about wiener dogs. I really like wiener dogs and all dogs in general. And I think I really like flowers. And I finally found people that I really love, like my family and all my best friends watching. So I think when you are struggling so hard deep down inside, you have to find the small things on earth that make this feel more like home.
I love that. You know, my wife and I, we talk about plan in peacetime for when wartime comes.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you just said, and I love that. Love that. Now, as we close, Mike, again, lots of parents here tonight. What advice, encouragement, rally cry do you give us so that we're having crucial, critical conversations with our kids, rather than expecting the school to do it, rather than hoping that everything's okay? Give us a rally cry.
That video was pretty good. Sitting on the couch and one person says something, a couple of short comments. I can still do that now, unfortunately, even though what we've been through. And so you just got to keep getting in there and digging in there, making them go out, making them do stuff. Remember how many drives did we take? Hundreds of drives.
You have to make them get out of their room.
Hundreds of drives. We had no idea where we were going, what we were doing. But that room gets awfully dark and the walls close in. And maybe there wasn't even some of the help with Remedy then. And so you just got to keep going in there. You got to make them get up, as cliche as it is, and answer the bell and then talk about that stuff. And some of her friends were great through this thing. Some left because it was just a lot to deal with. We understood that. Her brother, you know, is 20 years old, but has the maturity of a 35-year-old because he's navigated this whole thing and it's driven him to want to go into the medical field. Wow. And so don't stop with, how's it going? Yeah, I'm fine. You know, let me get in there a little bit. And you can't always do it. And she still loves her space at sometimes, but she's picking up pickleball as well in this competitive family. None of us had played it. We're good, she thinks, until we play somebody better. But the point is, make them get out of our box. We did hundreds of jigsaw puzzles. Like, we were just looking for different stuff, even if we weren't talking the whole time, of just being together in the room. And then one of the proudest things for Beth and I as parents, and again, it's the reason why we're sitting here and why she made it through the storm to date, is the faith in our Lord and Savior. And nothing makes me more happy than hearing them about a Bible study. They're both students at IU and things like that, where it's like we're trying to control stuff. We were never helicopter parents, but trying to figure all this stuff out. And in some ways, Beth and I had to give it to the Lord and think, we don't know why, and we don't quite understand all this stuff, but we do believe you're a sovereign God. And so we're going to keep having these conversations. And many days she didn't want to talk or we didn't know what to say. And then, like the doctor said, with his 13 or 14-year-old granddaughter, I think he said, that window got opened a little bit. Yeah. And then when that window gets opened a little bit, man, we're running through it. We're storming through the gates because there's something in there that's reaching out for help, even if they don't know what it is.
I think that's fantastic. I could bounce off that. Yeah, give it up. Yeah, I love it. I could bounce off that and talk about that all night. You know, we parents, sometimes we don't understand the language that our kids are speaking, and it's true that it's a total generation shift, and yet presence, right? Presence, listening, and prayer to be able to watch God open a door. But guys, I'm so thankful for both of you. Thank you for your friendship, for your vulnerability, for being a role model, not only as an individual, Caitlin and Mike, but as a family. The family is under attack in our country, and it's just wonderful to see a father and daughter standing on the stage together like this. We give it up for the Nutters tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
awesome.
brother.
Grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's always a miracle, in my opinion, when we actually end on time. We had a full night tonight, and one of the negative feedbacks we get year after year is, why do you try to cram so much stuff in 2 hours? Well, it's because we do 260 events a year. You know, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of these conversations in our chat center, and Anthony, Graham, and Matt at the Get School Tour, and now Brandon having those same conversations, and organizations like Brooks Construction, who's here with the best HR director in the business. Where's Carly? Is she back there somewhere? We just love working with companies like that and Metal Technologies, because when we go into a business, when we go into a school, we believe that we're being placed there and called to have meaningful conversations. And so many of you tonight are here tonight because you support us. You donate to what we do, and we need you more than ever. We are going into a year where for the first time, we know we're going to have to raise about $300,000 to keep up with the demand and what we believe we're called to in the school system. And tonight I specifically want to give you options to help us with the Get School Tour. Because the Get School Tour, although it's still an important program that we do, it truly is where we can meet those students. As young as first grade, as you saw with some of our animated features in the Get School Tour Junior, but then also what we're doing in the middle school and the high school population. So before we go and end our night together, we're going to ask this question: how can you further support the organization here at Remedy Live and help us to be able to do what we're doing? Well, there's a lot that goes into the Get School Tour. And if you look on the screen behind me, we've got administration costs, production costs. We've got the speakers and the programming, all the content that we develop, our polling software that we're using tonight, and the 24-hour chat center that we make available for every event that we do. And then now we're super excited about the Spark It Classroom follow-up video curriculum that we're leaving behind so that the teacher can pick up where we left, showing 3- and 5-minute videos to get discussions going, maybe for homeroom or advisor groups and things like that. But what we want to do tonight is we want to ask you to consider coming alongside us and either adopting one of the Get School Tour events or helping us to be able to fund some of these initiatives, like I said, in 2025. And so I want to break that down for us. Again, the Get School Tour Junior is one of those programs that it seems like it's an easy deal. We stand in front of a camera and we pipe it into a classroom, but all of those costs that we have to incur to be able to do that, they pile up. And so tonight, as we talk about the Get School Tour Junior, we're looking at some costs that we also have to figure out how we're going to be able to fund as we go into 2025. So here's the options that we can do. First of all, the Get School Tour, to do it, just to do it, to go into a school like you heard up here tonight, is $5,000. It's expensive. It is a big, big deal. But I just want to point this out again, that if there's 1,000 kids in the school, all 1,000 kids participate. In fact, I can't remember the exact number, but I think the Get School Tour gang, you're pulling at what, 85% participation this year? That's crazy, right? And the rating, this is crazy, the kids rate the event out of 5 stars. 4.3 out of 5 stars. They love the event. They love that we're talking about things like escape, screen time, that we're talking about escapism, into food, into drugs, into vaping, into fentanyl. They love that we're bringing out the neuroscience around these conversations. So $5,000 is the cost to do just one school. And again, I think we're doing 100 schools a year right now. The next is the virtual version of that Get School Tour. That's when we are in our studios and we stream the event somewhere in the country. The school has said, yeah, we want your programming, but we want to stream it right into the classroom to serve all 1,200 of our kids in each of the classes in our school. That's $2,500. Then if we want to serve the junior, that Get School Tour Junior, into the elementary school, that's $2,000 to bring age-appropriate content around what is mental health, what is our brain, the supercomputer in our skull, how can we talk to trusted adults when we feel secret struggles building up. And then lastly, that Spark It Classroom video. We've got about 55 videos that we currently have in our Spark It library. And we want to build a lot more of those. We want to build videos so that teachers, again, have that curriculum at their fingertips, that when they open their Spark It library, and you're going to see a little bit of this later on here in a second, of what that looks like, they can use those videos to spark more conversation. Then lastly, every time we start the chat center for an event, specifically for that event. We've got the 24-hour chat center all the time. But when we're serving a school, just to serve it for that one day is a $500 cost to us. And so with your partnership of adopting a Get School Tour, and I believe on your phone you have the ability right now to click and to select at least pledging these options. You're not going to have to pay tonight, but just by clicking your screen, you're saying, I'm interested in sponsoring something to do with the Get School Tour. If you do that, if you sponsor the Get School Tour, $5,000 at $2,500, that's going to impact up to 800 students on average. Some schools are larger and some schools are a little smaller. What we'll do is we'll give you an invitation to that event. We'll actually have you at the event with us so that you can see where your dollars have gone. You can see the impact and watch Anthony do his backflips across the gym and his candid story about who he was, who he became, and where he wants everyone to be when it comes to being vulnerable about our secret struggles. You'll see the live data. It will impact you like no other event. 60 to 80 questions in an hour's time. And that data will be made available to you so that you can see the impact that your dollars have made. And then you might want to come alongside the Spark Up video library like I talked about. Again, producing this content, and we take video production pretty serious. You've seen the videos played tonight. We have an incredible team. Aaron and Noah do an incredible job, and we're super excited that this year we're getting more students from the Anthos Career Center involved in our program so that they can be putting their fingers all over things and helping us create great content. But to create one video is about $1,000. And so again, by clicking your screen now, you can say, I pledge to learn more about how I can do that. And you can sign up so that we can tell you more about the Spark It Video Library and how $1,000 can help us impact up to 50,000 students watching those videos in classrooms all around the country. We'll give you those analytics. We'll tell you who's watching it, what schools are watching it, and give you up-to-date reports there. It's pretty fascinating. I've been really excited to watch how the diversity of the voices, the different videos we've created around screen time, around escapism, around anxiety, around depression, and even thoughts of suicide have been really, really well received by our school community. And these are interactive videos where students can not only watch it, but they can participate with the teacher providing discussion guides and questions back. So we really are trying to support the teachers right where they're at. And so as we close tonight, these are the ways that you can help. And of course, we still want to give you options as we end our night together so that you might just consider a gift of any kind. Maybe it's not the Get School Tour, but there are envelopes on your table, and you'll notice them right in the center there where you can grab an envelope and write out a check, or you can use that little banner at the bottom of your screen to click the donate button if you want. And the guys might be able to open up the window just to click the donate button so that you can sponsor other things that we're doing. Because again, every gift, no matter how big or how small, makes a difference at Remedy Live. We have a $2.2 million budget. And that, believe it or not, goes really fast when you're doing 260 events a year all around the Midwest. And so your support, even tonight, coming and buying a ticket, sponsoring a table, being part of our event tonight goes a long, long way. And so I'm super, super grateful for you being willing to do that. And we hope that the take-homes, those things that you're going to take with you, that bag and all the things within it, including our Cure Bible. I forgot to mention that earlier. Taking that home with you and maybe providing that to a young person that might be looking for something to be able to help open that door, much like Caitlin, to hope, the things that we heard from Dr. Brandenburger and Dr. Gutwein earlier. So I'm so thankful for you. I want to close in prayer and just ask God to go with you as you go back into the evening, go home, get back into the swing of things tomorrow, whether it be at work, as parents, moms and dads, having conversations like we talked about tonight with your kids, with each other, looking at your neighbors eyeball to eyeball. How are you really? Asking those types of questions. And we hope that tonight has been an encouragement to you that Remedy Live truly is trying to be a normalizing agent in our community to help you and I be the kind of people that can be salt and light in the world, to be able to let people know that they matter, they're valuable, and that they're not alone. So Lord, as we close our time together here at the Clyde Theater, thank you so much again that we could come together tonight. Thank you for each and every participant, attendee. You know them uniquely. You created each of us. And tonight as we engage, continue in meaningful conversations, Lord, give us opportunities. Give us opportunities to be present with eyes to see, with ears to hear, so that when we're talking to the people around us, it's more than just how are you, but it's how are you really, so that we can be present in those people's lives in that moment. And then secondly, Lord, may we be active listeners. May we be the kind of people that when we ask that question, we're actually listening to the response, like Mike did to Caitlin. And like so many of us in this room can testify to, that when we've listened to those that are around us, we hear the struggle, we hear the pain, and we're able to provide support and presence there. And so God, as we go, I pray you'll go with us, guide us in safety. Thank you again for the privilege to serve you, because you are the remedy. And we just give you the glory for everything that's occurred tonight and for this next year until we meet again here at the Clyde Theater. And we pray this in your name. Amen. As we close as well, I have some exciting news to announce. We are going to be moving Texteractive to May this next year. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Many of you know that we had our golf outing in August and had an incredible time with the 3rd annual Ross Nichols golf outing at Pine Valley. And so we're going to have 2 events a year now, but look for invitations in the emails that we send out in regards to Texteractive that first week of May. We hope to see you back here at the Clyde Theater. Drive safe, and again, thanks for coming.